Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day. Look at the progress we have made. We are probably 2/3 of the way, I would estimate, through the mountain building project, which once again is happening more frequently on my Twitch channel. If you want to head over twitch.tv/Pixlriffs and check that out. I'm streaming Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, getting the rest of this thing built. And I'm trying to work in little sections here and there where we can have some flatter terrain, some slopes and things like that we're eventually going to turn into all of the ski runs for this project. But wow, it is taking a while, it's taking a lot of resources. My cobblestone generators are going pretty much constantly, but thankfully that's providing us with enough stone to get the job done. And our dwarf ruin down there still needs a little bit more work done on it, a little bit more progress done on it. But of course, the mountains here are taking priority right now, and as they take shape, we can start to think about the other stuff we're going to do around here. But I need to head out and repair my elytra because the elytra is looking a little bit broken. And for that, I'm actually going to turn to the subject for today's episode, because in a recent update, in Minecraft 1.15.2, I believe, it was possible for nether portals to link to the top of the nether again, and not just link to the top of the nether in the sense that you could go from the nether to the overworld, but also linking back to the nether ceiling. And that has changed a kind of long-running precedent within Minecraft that you cannot get to the nether ceiling by any means other than breaking bedrock. Now, it isn't possible to generate a portal that appears on the nether ceiling originally, but if you create a nether portal of your own on the nether ceiling, it is now possible to get back to it reliably. And so today I think we're going to take a look at the theory of connecting nether portals to the nether roof, because the nether portal to this area, which is actually just around here on this hill, leads me out into a kind of inconvenient location, which is right here on the edge of this lava lake. And in fact, I had to bridge over this initially with a tunnel that I have never quite finished. This path actually goes all the way from here to my nether hub, more or less. It kind of links up with the path that I took out to the ocean monument base originally, the kind of guardian temple that I converted into a guardian farm. And as you can see, I've made a couple of attempts in the past to link this up at various heights, and we have a dead nether portal up there that I disabled so that I could make this one down here at the level where I could just take an ice boat road out here. But unfortunately, that has kind of fallen by the wayside. I didn't pick up enough blue ice in order to get out here, and to be honest, I think a diagonal road would be much more efficient than traveling on a straight one that kind of bends halfway through. Not to mention the fact that if you traverse this on a boat, aside from the fact that the path isn't fully complete right now, you also have the problem of having to turn a corner, slipping off the side of it, and you kind of get turned around a little bit in that. And I have mainly just been flying from here back to the gold farm that I have on the nether roof in order to repair my tools. So the gold farm up here is probably my most reliable source of XP right now, and also one of the most useful, because the pigmen here are going to be giving me gold by the bucket load, not to mention a fair amount of rotten flesh that I can trade with the two clerics I brought up here several episodes ago. These folks give me rotten flesh trades, not the best of course, because I haven't zombified and cured them too much, but it's kind of nice to have them available for trading. And in one or two of these chests, yep, we have a fair amount of gold ingots, not to mention in a couple of them we get gold nuggets, and here we smelt all of the gold swords down into nuggets as well. Unfortunately, I haven't really refueled these in a while. They were originally fueled with sticks. I think I might bring some blaze rods to top these things up so that we can have fuel for those for the foreseeable future. But at the top here, of course, is my gold farm, and this is a really great place to get XP. When the minecarts aren't making such a horrendous noise, anyway, I've actually turned them all the way off at this point. But I make so much XP at this farm that the XP even lingers for a while, and if I come back here without any of my gear equipped, I could potentially repair whatever is left. Things like my pickaxe, my elytra, all of that stuff. Anytime I want to repair it, I come back here. And so, with this being on the nether roof, it made me think, what if we end up making a connection to the ski resort on the nether roof as well? With a portal set up on the nether roof, all I would need to do would be to fly from my ski resort back here, repair my tools, and fly back again, and I could connect directly to the nether roof without having to worry about going through the main body of the nether. And most of the time, the nether is plain sailing, but just on occasion, I might need to have to come back here with my elytra still broken, which would mean I wouldn't be able to fly through the nether. And even though I have backup pairs, it's kind of nice to not have to worry about using those. So I'm thinking today, we do the work necessary to establish a nether portal connection to the nether roof. And this is actually a lot more simple than it at first sounds. The first thing we're going to do is come back to our portal location here, and yes, despite the fact that we decorated it with banners a few episodes ago, we are going to be taking down both the portals, both this one here at the top level, and this one down here at the bottom level, making sure that we don't have any active nether portals elsewhere in this area as well, because I'm going to explain the maths for this a little bit later, but any other nether portals within a certain radius of this might potentially connect to the portal in the overworld once we've removed this one. But the idea is we're going to make the one on the nether roof the nearest available portal for the overworld portal to link to, and it will actually prefer to link to the nether roof as opposed to another portal further out in the nether. For the last step here, we are going to take the coordinates of the former location of the portal, which I'm pretty sure was about here. Yes, there we go, -687, -674. We're going to take those coordinates to the roof of the nether, and there we're going to build a portal. And there we go, we're looking at about here, effectively. So all we need to do is set up another nether portal here, and we got a little bit more obsidian this time around, so we could set up a slightly larger one if we wanted to. Let's build this up 4 blocks, do a 4x3 portal right here, and then we will need something to light it with, which I don't think I brought with me in the end. Yep, didn't bring a flint and steel with me, so I'm going to have to head back to the overworld and get one. But that does actually lend me an interesting opportunity to explain why this portal, when I go through it and come out at the iron farm, does not then reconnect me to the nether roof when I travel back through it. Instead, it connects me to the central nether portal that I established in my nether hub quite a while ago. And that is because of the relative coordinates of the nether portals in respect to their counterparts in the overworld. Right here, I have a portal that is basically set up around sea level in the nether, around Y64 or near enough. Right here, we're at Y79, we're a few blocks above it. So roughly speaking, this portal is at about where sea level would be in the Y coordinate of the overworld, and that means that it is the closest thing to most of the portals in that area because it's searching for a portal within 128 blocks radius in all directions. That's radius, not diameter. It's not just a 64 block radius, it's 128 blocks, and that will typically try and find a portal within the area from the bottom of the nether where the bedrock generates around y=1 all the way to the roof of the nether at y=127, because most portals within that range are going to be within the body of the nether itself. And when you first create a portal in the overworld, Minecraft tries to create one at a similar height and will not create one on the roof of the nether. Furthermore, when linking a portal from the roof of the nether to the overworld, Minecraft will still check on your way back through that portal in the overworld whether there is a more suitable, closer nether portal in terms of the coordinates in the nether, and if there is, it won't teleport you to the one on the nether roof. So in order to make sure that we get teleported to the nether roof, we have to remove any eligible nether portals from within a 128 block area, and then make sure that the relative coordinates for the ones on the nether roof are as exact as possible, using the standard maths of dividing the overworld coordinates by 8. So if we now head out, I think in this direction, we need to be, oh no, we need to be heading northwest. Okay, so basically the opposite direction to where I thought we needed to be. There we go, there's our portal. As I was saying, if we now head out to these coordinates and light this portal, I am fairly confident that I have placed no other portals within 128 block radius of this portal in the nether. There are no portals down below the surface of the nether ceiling that are within 128 blocks of this portal. And thanks to that, it should be possible now to go through this and reconnect to the portal I've already made in the overworld at the ski lodge. There we go, as you can see, we made it through to this one. We are by the ski lodge, we are not in the sky or anything. We haven't been generated 128 blocks up in the overworld because, of course, there is already a portal here for the one in the nether to link to. And now if I go back through this portal, fingers crossed we end up on the nether roof. And there it is. Nice and simple like that, because there are no closer portals for the portal in the overworld to find. This becomes a little bit more complicated when you are trying to link up a bunch of portals in a nearby area. Say I wanted a couple of portals that ended up linking me to various landmarks around Founder's Forge. Basically, every portal I could make in that area would have to be on the roof of the Nether for them all to consistently link back to the roof of the Nether. If I left a single portal below the Nether ceiling, chances are that 128 block radius would find that Nether portal before it found one on the Nether roof. Mathematically speaking, of course, there are going to be some exceptions where this is not going to be the case. For example, take this portal here, which I built around Y72 here in the overworld. If I was trying to build two portals in the Nether, one above the Nether roof at Y128, and one at bedrock level in the Nether as low down as I could get, which would probably be about Y4 or Y3. The one on the Nether roof is actually going to be closer to this one by virtue of the fact that it's only about 50 blocks away, compared to the one at Y4 probably being closer to 70 blocks away. So in some cases, if there is just vertical travel involved, then it's going to be possible to link portals to the Nether roof and also have a portal lower down that could connect to one inside the main bounding box of the Nether itself. But that is going to require a little bit more precise mathematics and making sure that any portal you want to link to the Nether roof is higher up in the world where possible. If it is below Y64, chances are it's going to link to a portal lower down in the Nether, and of course if it can reach out in any of the other directions and grab one in the body of the Nether because it's closer on the X or Z axis, it's going to try and do that also. Now back here in the Nether, I should point out that we've actually been able to link a portal to the Nether roof before. This was possible in versions before Minecraft 1.15.2. In fact, we did it a long time ago in a completely separate episode. And I can't believe I managed to find it again, but by a little bit of flying around, I did. This right here is the portal that actually leads out towards the Woodland mansion, from which we gathered all of our Vindicators earlier in the series. If I hop underneath here, here we are back at that Woodland mansion, and we used this technique before where we removed a couple of blocks of bedrock and buried the portal in the bedrock ceiling in order to get the Vindicators up to the Nether ceiling and transport them via minecart. However, now, thanks to the fact that Nether portal coordinate calculations have been revised slightly, it would be possible for us to link this portal to the Nether roof without ever having broken bedrock in the first place. We needed to the first time around, we don't need to this time, and I could actually move this entire portal up to be flush with the bedrock ceiling if I wanted to. And so at this point you might be wondering, why are we bothering with this in the first place? Why link to the roof of the Nether ceiling with a Nether portal like this? The answer to that is really for transport, because the Nether roof, as you can see, is a wide, flat open space unimpeded by things like lava falls, ghasts, and other unfriendly mobs. It's actually a lot smoother getting from here to the center of our world where the gold farm is in order to repair my tools and even head down the scaffolding down there to visit my main base. And so in addition to the Nether hub that we're building inside the main body of the Nether, which is something I do plan to complete and decorate even further once the Nether update comes out, we're actually going to be building a bit of a Nether hub on the roof of the Nether as well. Not to mention the fact that we have a large, flat open space between us and the central portals, which means it's ideal for building a piston bolt track. Now, piston bolts are already kind of associated with this project, as down here in the depths of the earth a while ago, I started building a piston bolt that I figured would be a really great way of getting back to my spawn area. The tunnel I have here actually extends probably about 600 blocks in that direction, although the piston bolt section here actually does not go all that far. The main problem with this, of course, is the sheer length of this track. It's 5,000 blocks on both axes, which actually diagonally calculates to a fair bit more because of the way, you know, Pythagoras' theorem works. So I think the problem here is just the sheer enormity, the scale, the size of this whole thing. It's going to be a lot easier to build something like this on the Nether, where we have 1/8 of the distance to travel because of the way the Nether coordinates correlate with the ones in the overworld, and we also have a flat section of the Nether roof to build on without having to worry about digging out all of these caves and worrying about creepers appearing to explode all of our hard work. We are, however, going to have to put carpets on a lot of the solid blocks in this contraption because otherwise ghasts could potentially spawn on anywhere we create a solid block platform. They cannot, however, spawn on bedrock, which means the rest of the Nether roof is safe from ghast incursions. And you know what? I think we're probably going to take some of the supplies we were using to build this piston bolt and now put them to use on the roof of the Nether instead. If you can't remember how to build a piston bolt, we've covered this in a previous episode, but I'll recap it here. They are surprisingly simple to make once you get the pattern down, because working from this pattern here, all we need to do is come out with a bunch of diagonal blocks heading in this direction. Between each section of this, we're going to make a pattern of 3 rails in a curve like that, remove the 2 straight rails, and just leave the curve there. And that's the one that the minecart is going to sit on later, making sure that you do not accidentally place any rails there, for example, because then it'll be really difficult to reset those rails, and you'll find yourself going further and further back each time, placing a rail there, and then having to fix that one by placing a rail there, and the entire pattern kind of gets destroyed very quickly. So you've got to watch out and make sure you don't accidentally spawn a ghast or anything like that that's going to destroy the rails, because then you basically have to start building the entire thing again. There are automatic rail curving machines that exist out there though, and I'm pretty sure Ilmango has a design for those if you need one. Could make your life a lot easier if you just place a rail on every block diagonally like that, and then build an automatic rail curver that will help each of these get turned into that position. Anyway, once you've got all of those rails in place, you can start placing some sticky pistons that are going to be pushing each of these blocks inwards, effectively forcing the minecarts to be pushed onto the next section of rail in very quick succession, basically pushing it all the way down to the end of the track, wherever that happens to be. Behind each of these pistons, we're going to place another full block. In this case, I'm using a lot of dark oak wood because I have a great deal of it. And then alternating behind each of these dark oak planks, we're going to place a redstone dust and a repeater, a redstone dust and a repeater, a redstone dust and a repeater, in that order, all the way down the track, making sure that everything is facing inwards towards the blocks that are going to be powering these pistons. We'll do the same on the opposite side here, and then fill in these backing blocks, which are going to be transferring the power into each new section of redstone dust and repeaters along the sides here. So we'll put the same on this side as well. And now all we should need is a minecart, and we can give this thing a test. But if I press this button now, you'll see that everything kind of encloses and then parts again in very quick succession. But I think I may already know somewhere on the roof of the Nether here where we can find some minecarts. This is a little bit embarrassing, but during the creation of the gold farm all the way over there to the south, I had a bit of an accident, and I ended up releasing a lot of the minecarts that were stacking up, colliding with each other, and providing entity cramming for the zombie pigmen as they made their way towards the center where I was standing. And as a result, I have like 7 minecarts out here, and there are probably some in a few other directions that just rolled out here under their own momentum and collision. I can't believe they managed to make it 675 blocks north, but they did. And thankfully for me, that means I can start a little stockpile of minecarts over here at my piston bolt. Because it's worth bearing in mind that the piston bolt will only work in one direction. So if we need to take the piston bolt back to the ski resort, we are going to have to build another one. As I mentioned before, it is going to be necessary to spawn-proof any solid blocks in this contraption, including, unfortunately, the ones that are going to be moving, which means we probably won't be able to put carpet over the top of these blocks. What we're going to do instead is probably bring in some glass or something like that, and that will line this in its entirety, making sure that no ghasts will spawn in the meantime. But I think this should be okay for now. If I hop into this minecart and press the button, yep, as you can see, that managed to propel me all the way along to the end of the track, and everything retracts back into place afterwards. Now, we just need to repeat this for, I guess, about another 600 blocks in both axes, and we should be a little bit closer to the gold farm than we were when we started. Well, folks, I've been at work on this for some time now, and I'm fairly certain it's not going to be finished for today's episode, but welcome to the Rainbow Road. I like this thing a lot, and I did actually figure out that yes, you can put carpets on all of the moving parts. When I press this button, as you can see, the carpets all stay in place, probably due to the fact that pistons are a little bit more consistent with stuff being attached to them now. They will still pop off any redstone components that are attached to them, like repeaters, I think, will still pop off, and buttons attached to them, of course, will as well, but those piston heads pushing out will still keep the carpet on top of them. And I just wanted to make this whole thing a lot more colorful, a little bit more vibrant here for the roof of the Nether, so that's what we're going with. And it only manages to cover about, I'd say, 1/6 of the distance. I think we get to around like 500 blocks out or so, but that is certainly a lot further than I get in the overworld. So let's give this a try. Yeah! Zooming along on that piston bolt with the carpets either side of us. I like that a lot. I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, it kind of closes up at the end there, and we are still a long way out. Yeah, I think that's probably about 100 blocks worth of travel from the portal over there to this area here. And this is just going to be a nice chill project to work on over the next couple of days while I attempt to have a little bit more of a calm experience here in Minecraft. And I kind of like the change of pace doing this here on top of the Nether Roof compared to working on mountains, or even worse, working down there with those ghasts that you can hear in the background. It's nice being up here and not having to worry about other mobs. I've had some pigmen spawning on these blocks occasionally, but nothing more dangerous than that, and they despawn pretty quickly once you get down the other end anyway. So I'm probably going to wrap this up here, but I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at what we're going to be doing up here on the Nether Roof, and now you know how to link your portals up here more permanently. Don't forget to leave a like on this episode if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.